So hey, do you have to organize groups or teams together in such a way that you want to be able to ensure that they have overlapping availability with each other? Well, if you do, stick around because I have a solution just for you. So hey, I'm Dr. Craig Ingstrom, but you can just call me Craig because we're now social acquaintances. And in this video, I want to show you a macro Excel spreadsheet that I had developed so that I can organize groups of students very quickly into, say, teams of 4 or 5 or whatever my preference is, and I know and I can be ensured that there is overlapping availability of them. Not only that, I try to maximize the overlapping availability. But with this tool, I can guarantee that at least if a student is in a group, there will be at least 1 hour of overlapping time where they can meet, because I have them supply me with their schedule, and then I run it through this macro, and it puts them into groups, and there will be guaranteed at least 1 hour where they overlap. So you can eliminate that problem where you have, say, 3 students that have a set schedule, and they can all meet at a particular time, but one is left out. This is the perfect thing if you're teaching asynchronous courses, because students don't often know each other. Everybody has very different schedules, and you can now group them together rather than, say, by interest, but by their maximum availability of overlapping time. I mean, ideally, you would have, say, hey, here's 10 hours that you all can choose a meeting time in and give them flexibility. But in the worst case scenario, you can guarantee at least 1 hour that there's going to be overlapping time. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do. I have this free tool for you to use. And yeah, let's jump to the PC and I'll walk you through the steps to make sure that you can use this amazing tool. So the first thing you're probably going to want to do is to go to my website, craigingstrom.ninja, as you can see, /downloads, dial down the page, and you will find somewhere on it this Microsoft Excel student grouper. What you want to do is download it. Go ahead and open it. And now you are in the tool that you will be using. I'm going to go ahead and click Enable Editing. It is a macro. It will say, hey, security warning, it's been disabled, but I'm going to go ahead and enable that. And just be aware, I do not guarantee or warranty this, but I've been using it for several weeks and had no trouble with it on my computer. The next thing you're going to want to do is to go over to a product called WhenIsGood. Now, you'll want to set up an account. So I've already set up an account. I assume you know how to set up accounts of things. It's just like any other website. Once you've set up your account, you can go to your account, get logged in there. What you can do if you're creating something for the first time is go to New Event. And what you're going to want to do is to show options. If you haven't used this tool before, it's way better than Doodle in my opinion. It's just way easier to use, as you will probably see here in a moment. What I do then is I choose a random week from Monday all the way to Sunday, especially, well, whatever your preference is going to be. In this case, for students, I want to sort of give them an entire week. They might have to meet on the weekends, for example. And then you can choose what hours you want to show. I would probably do something like 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Students might have some flexibility. And then what hours do you want to highlight? You could do something like 10 a.m. until about 6 p.m. That seems pretty reasonable. But, it's your preference. If you're setting it up for some other reason, usually what I'll do is, what do I want to sort of meet in the time period of, say, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. What you can do, you can even create like a custom URL or invitation. You could put your, say, course number, and then you can change this text if you want. I'm going to leave all of that the same, and I want the duration to be 60 minutes. And I want to hide the dates. That's going to be really important because what you're going to do is eliminate this, and it does not matter then that it's a specific date. And hide preferences is something you can do. I would recommend that because you don't want them choosing things like I might be available. You really want it to be like yes available or no available, and make it clear to students that that's what you need. If you cannot meet for some reason, do not mark it down. And I would disable send alerts, but if for some reason you want to be alerted for each time the students send in a post, go ahead and do that. You want to also name the event. So let's just call this Test 2021 just for that, but you could call it like your course name or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and update the grid here just so I can see what that looks like before creating it, and you can see Monday through Sunday. One thing you're going to have to do is to go ahead and just highlight all of these squares. Might take you a moment to do this. If you're creating a when is good for, let's say, some other purpose, what's nice about this is you could, for example, let's say you have a meeting all the time at 12 p.m., for example. You could eliminate that, and it won't even be an option for people to select. So you can actually set up a when is good around your availability already before sending it out to people. But again, for this purpose, you're going to create that. I'm going to go ahead and create the event. I'm going to copy and paste that, and I'm going to send that to students, and that's what they're going to see. They'll put in their name. They could add some comments if they needed to, but they'll just come along and they'll basically say, when are they available? Okay, so let's just assume for this student it's that. They send the response and it logs it. Then on the back end, what you're going to see under your account is, what people have completed, how many results, and so forth. This one is the test that I've put together for the purposes of this video, and you can see you have a large number of students here with a wide range of schedules. Now, one thing that you can sort of do is, say, who's available during this time. And you can see that there is overlapping time with all of these different students, right? And so if that's all you want, and to give students just 1 hour and say, okay, you can all meet at 8 a.m., then really this tool, everything you need for it is already done, and you do not need that macro that I created, because you can see that there's overlapping time and students could meet there. But what my purpose is to try to maximize the flexibility, because I don't want to force students to have to meet at 8 a.m., right? What I'd like them to have is say, well, there's 10 hours where you overlap. So that's where this tool is going to come in handy. Now, the one thing that you're going to need to do is to upgrade to be able to do this step, okay? So I did want to highlight that this tool is still great even if you don't want to pay. The reason you would have to upgrade your account, right? And you can click on pricing here, and it says the free account, and then there's this premium. That's what you want. And to be honest with you, I think $20 per year is totally worth it, even if you weren't using it for this. So huge fan of it. And I will also say that when I went to upgrade, it said that they were having a problem with their payment processor, and they gave me a full year for free. So check that out. Maybe it's still available for you. So you might get when is good for free for a year. So anyway, I think $20 for just the amount of time it saves me, because now I can organize students in a way, and it just saves me, a lot of pain and frustration of, students not being able to meet. So it's totally worth it for that one reason, but then I get a lot of other benefits with the premium version. Now that we have done this, what I'm going to do is export to Excel. I'm going to go ahead and open that. Once it's open, you're going to see, this first page. What I'm going to go to is responses, and now you can see that you have all of these students. I'm going to go ahead and click enable editing just so I can grab the data. And you can see, and there's all these overlapping times, okay? So here's the times, Monday, all those dates, and are they available? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do then is to just take this, and I'm going to go down, and I'm going to copy all of these cells. Copy. I'm going to go back over to this one, and then I'm going to insert copied cells. Okay, so that's really important, because I don't want to get rid of those red group 1 through group 4 items, because that's partly where the code is at, okay, for running this. Okay. All right, now what this says is that if I wanted to have where students are all together and there's 100% overlapping time, then let's say there's 2 students and their schedules are exactly the same. It would put them into a group under 100. So that's sort of the principle you're working with. This would say that there's 100% availability for those. One thing you'll probably want to do is to go ahead and set this up so that you can scroll down and it's going to keep showing the students. So what I do is I just put it in that cell, and then I'm going to go to view, and I'm going to go to freeze panes, and I'm going to freeze, I'm going to freeze, I guess I had it frozen already. I'm going to go and freeze panes, and then I'm going to drop down, and you can see that that's now moving with me, okay? Okay, so what I have here is these groups, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click Create Group. Once it runs its magic, you will see that what it's done is it said, okay, well, Minnie Mouse is 100% available with Minnie Mouse and Donald Duck. So what this is saying to me is that no students have exactly the same schedule. So what you can do is then start stepping down. I'd probably start with something like 60, click Create Group, and now you will see that there are some students with some availability. right here. And in this case, group 1 could be comprised of Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, and Spider-Man if you wanted a group of 3. Here's probably a good one to start with because let's say you want a group of 4. You have New York, OJ1, Robin, and Helsinki. These students could meet together. So then what I do is I find those students. So I'm going to do Control F, New York, and it's going to take me over there. And I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And just to be sure, I thought that it said under that option we had New York, OJ1, Robin, and Helsinki. So yes. So let's go back to New York and Helsinki, right? And I can go ahead and take those 2 together to save me a little bit of time. I'm going to cut them out, and I'm going to go say to group 1, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste those cells. I hit Control V for that, okay? So now you can actually see quite easily that, okay, yeah, there is a lot of overlapping time with them. I'm going to go back to the responses, and I'm going to repeat that for the other 2 students, Robin and Helsinki and OJ1. So here's OJ1 and here's Robin together. There we go, cut. Go back to group 1 and paste those into there, okay? So now we have there. And then if you want, you could actually go through and you could just number each one that has maximum overlap. You might also want to come over here and copy these just to have them sort of in place if it matters to you, you know, what the actual times are. For me, it doesn't matter because all I care about is that, yeah, they can have overlap. And when they start talking about their specific schedules, they will know when they can meet. So yeah, there's a lot of overlap here for students to choose among in terms of their times that they can meet and get together. So the next thing that you can do, and you would just keep repeating this process. In this case, I would probably also group together. So I've already grouped this group together. I might group this group together, and I would do that, say, under the group 2 cell, right? And I would go through and copy and paste. And once you sort of eliminate some more students, so just for the purpose of this, I'm just going to eliminate these students. And what I can do now is create another group at 60 just to show you that the availability really starts to shrink. So then what I do is I step down, and yeah, so now we're getting to where you have that. And if you want to step up, say it gives you 2 large of groups, you can do that, and that looks like it might be a really good group of 4. So that's all I do. So I keep doing this until I get down to the last few where I might have to get a little creative in getting them into groups together or working with them to find a suitable range. But the nice thing is, you know that students will have maximum availability. So if you thought that this was great, do grab this tool. It's 100% free from me. You might have to pay $20 a year for that WhenIsGood, but I think it's totally worth it. And if you have any questions, happy to answer them in the comments. All right, so that is it, folks. It is super easy, and I'm actually working on another tool that'll allow me to group students based on how many I want into a group, and we'll still have some overlapping availability, but maybe not maximum availability. Once I have that ready, I will be posting it, so stick around. Be sure to like, share, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss these videos. And yeah, until the next one, I do hope that you have a wonderful day.